Thank you, Honorable Mingo. My colleagues, Ministers of State for Education, Honorable Members of Parliament present here this afternoon, the PS for the Ministry of Education and your team, the Chairperson of UNEB, the Executive Secretary of UNEB and your team, the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. And let me begin my remarks, as always, by thanking God for his faithfulness in taking our children through a very difficult time of the COVID-19 pandemic and Ebola outbreak, and he enabled them to sit for their Uganda Certificate of Education examination and to conclude without any tragic incidents or fatalities reported. Therefore, we do have every reason to celebrate this release of results, indeed just like that of the PLE 2022, and to testify that in spite of the challenges, God is still with us and he's still doing great things for us. Secondly, we have even greater reasons to celebrate these results and to report to the country that the candidature, as you heard from UNEB, the candidature which had declined in 2020 has now picked up and actually surpassed the previous numbers by a more significant proportion of 4.8%. This is indeed an indication that with God's blessing, we have largely overcome the problem of having closed schools for close to two years and the other effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in 2019, as you heard Mr. Odongo say, we celebrated the increase in the number of girls registering for the UCE examination, which had always been lower than that of the boys. At the time, we noted that not only had the number of girls completing PLE caught up with the number of boys, but also the number of girls was significantly higher than that of the boys. Unfortunately, however, in 2022, this positive trend appears to have reversed in favor of the boys once again. The nation, therefore, must be concerned that over 30,000 girls do not transition to complete the next level after PLE. Consequently, we at the Ministry of Education and Sports consider this a matter of great concern, and we find it necessary to provide an explanation to the nation regarding this challenge that affects the education and development of the girl child. I have therefore instructed the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education and Sports to conduct a study in this area that we may understand the issues at hand and authoritatively inform the nation. Now, once more, I regrettably note that the cases of absenteeism that have been decreasing have now increased again by 0.3%, meaning some 560 candidates over that of 2020, as I noted during the release of PLE 2022 results. This is of great concern to the ministry and therefore must be of concern to all the stakeholders. This is especially so since these young people are in school for all the 4 years. They then register for examinations, only to miss out at the end, thus losing out of transitioning to the next level of their education. So again, we must find answers to these questions and we will. Furthermore, the Ministry acknowledges the poor performance in biology, which has been reoccurring through subsequent releases of the UCE results. This matter is currently being addressed through the intervention of curriculum reviews. These reviews aim at, among other things, doing away with obsolete information, reducing subject content overload, and contact hours in the classroom, so as to create time for research, talent development, and creativity, among other things. This, we hope, will help improve the learners' performance. Similarly, the Ministry notes that this year, the overall performance in the science subjects that are compulsory is not yet satisfactory, although there is some improvement. Government is committed to promoting the teaching and learning of science subjects, as you know. The Ministry of Education and Sports will look into this matter and, where necessary, re-examine our policies to address areas of concern in this regard. Now, on a happier note though, as the chairperson of UNEB reported earlier, the government learned about the impact of COVID-19 on the teaching learning time and devised an abridged curriculum. This meant that the National Curriculum Development Center had to review the content and remove duplication in subjects that tended to lengthen the curriculum and the completion time. This exercise was accomplished at the right time. Therefore, it pleases me to hear that this did not have any negative effect on the core skills and competencies that learners require to advance to the next level. It is also noteworthy that UNEB examined the Chinese language for the first time, along with other foreign languages, as you have already heard. This is a welcome development. The knowledge of Chinese is vital for us, given the ever-increasing levels of engagements between Uganda and China in the various fields: educational, cultural, technological, and commerce. This is also why, as a country, we must ensure that our people can communicate in these major languages such as French, German, Arabic, and even Swahili at the East African level. These efforts strengthen our competitiveness in the global village. Now, as we emerge from the pandemic and the Ebola outbreak, God continues to work in formidable ways in our learners. They continue to obtain better results every year as more of them qualify to join higher levels of education. I therefore appeal to the teachers to give effect to the significant interventions that government has put in to improve the teaching of sciences especially. Talking about teachers now also brings me to the subject of the arts teachers, as you heard my colleague, Honorable Myingo, remark. I cannot finish what I'm saying without mentioning the very important fact that government is looking to the arts teachers now to show their loyalty to God, to their government, and the children they teach. As I told you, teachers, at the World Teachers' Day, please leave the matter of your remuneration to your mother ministry, the Ministry of Education and Sports, working with the Ministry of Public Service. I reiterate that today. This is our burden as a ministry, and we will not rest until a fair solution is found. You go ahead and do your best and trust God to do the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the rise of examination malpractices now, and the equally disturbing issue of head teachers that misappropriate the learners' examination registration fees. This also continues to be a great challenge that negatively impacts on the education of our children. I wish to once again categorically state that the Ministry of Education and Sports will not tolerate examination malpractices. Indeed, the UNEB Act of 2021 provides for punitive action for those who are participating in and condoning this practice. Additionally, I wish to warn the proprietors of schools who are found to be involved in the misappropriation of these examination registration fees that the Uganda National Examination Board will not hesitate to suspend or even cancel the affected examination centers, as is provided for in Section 32, subsection 4 of the UNEB Act of 2021. Finally, I'd like to thank the chairperson, the board, the executive director, and staff of UNEB for the wonderful work they have done in successfully delivering the results of these examinations. I congratulate the candidates who have performed well, and for those who have not done as well as they expected, there is time to try once again, or to seize the other opportunities available to acquire skills for life. I join UNEB in thanking the security agencies represented here today by Colonel Meme Silvia from UPDF and Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Mate Godfrey from the Uganda Police Force, and all other persons that worked in various agencies in conducting of these examinations. The selection exercise for Senior 5 now will be held on 23rd and 24th February 2023 at the Uganda Manufacturers Association Exhibition Hall. The date for reporting to school for Senior 5 will be the 6th of March 2023. It is now my pleasure to release the 2022 Uganda Certificate of Examination results for public use. As you have already seen, these are the results. I thank you, and God bless you all.